We were actively working on the case. I believe we were at the office at the time. Received information that the defendant had called into a central dispatch center wishing to turn himself in, and we all quickly responded to that area.
Okay. What area specifically was that?
I'm unfamiliar with the area, along Blue Star Highway. It was a church between South Haven and Finnville.
Okay. So it was not in the Grand Rapids area?
No.
When you got to that area, what were your specific responsibilities?
When I arrived, the defendant was already in custody. He was in a patrol car. I learned that one of my partners, the detective in charge of this case, Detective Sergeant Williams, had begun an interview with the subject.
Okay. And he had begun the interview and you joined in that interview?
Yeah, early on I did.
Okay. And when did that interview, where did that take place?
It was inside a patrol vehicle.
And that was recorded?
Yes, it was.
And in terms of recording, all Michigan State Police cruisers have either in-car videos, if you will.
Yes, they do.
And you have access to those in-car videos?
I do.
And you can review them for your case, you can review them for other cases as a detective sergeant?
I can.
And how are they stored? What is the system that they're stored on?
It's an evidence library. It's called WatchGuard. It's cloud-based. It's all online.
And so you can have access to that WatchGuard system when you need to review cases or share cases or so forth.
Yes.
Did you watch the video specifically for this interview you had with the defendant?
I did.
And did you watch the portions even before you got involved in the interview?
Yes, I did.
And you recognize your partner in that interview?
I do.
And who is your partner? I don't think you said that.
Detective Sergeant Dave Williams.
And you recognize the defendant as well?
I do.
Is there anything out of the ordinary in terms of that video that would indicate it would be tampered with or anything along those lines?
No.
Your Honor, I move the admission. I'm going to say People's Exhibit 1. It's provided a copy to defense. It's on a video. Specifically, it's a body cam video for Trooper Jacobson, specifically his cabin video for future reference, so should it be needed.
Thank you. Any objection?
Your Honor, I do have an objection in the respects that, yes, it was provided to me. I understand what Mr. Becker is doing. The problem I have is he wants to play a portion of the interview that's not done by this particular witness. So this witness is testifying to what he reviewed in the tape done by somebody else, meaning he doesn't have the actual personal knowledge because it's before he gets in the car. So I'm going to object on that basis. I understand that he will likely still be able to play it, but that's my objection.
Thank you. And is Trooper Dave Williams available?
He is not available. He's in Florida at this point in time, but I thought, I'm not asking you to say what happened. I'm going to play this portion of the video. I think it's admissible as a business record, quite frankly, and just play the portion that this detective was not there for, so we can see exactly what happened, and then get into the interview with this detective.
Thank you. I'll allow it.
Play it from now. I'm going to start it. For the record, I'm going to start at approximately 48:54 on the video.
How's it going, Brandon? Yeah, I'm going to talk to you here in just a second. I'm just going to take a photo how we have it here. I apologize. It's
voice folder?
No, you're good. You're good. It's more about your clothing. So, I'm David. I'm a detective sergeant up at the Grand Rapids Post. You're Brandon, right? What's your last name, Brandon?
Ortiz.
Ortiz.
Trying to see the first things.
What?
Trying to see one thing first.
Yeah.
I'm worried about my safety.
Okay.
I told all the officers I'm turning myself in because I did a horrible crime.
Okay.
And I know I have to face,
Yeah.
anything.
Okay.
But I've gotten word already that the family, the victim's family, wants to take justice into their own hands.
Okay.
And I know I'm involved in gangs,
Okay.
and I know once I get into general population,
Okay.
there's a hit on me already.
Okay.
I want to be in solitude if you make that possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really, it's for sure they're gonna.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. If you're in danger, absolutely. We're gonna make
I'll
sure.
cooperate, I'll do it.
Okay.
I left the car that I took.
Yeah.
I'll show you where I left it.
Okay. So I have a couple things I'm gonna start with. As you can imagine, one of the first things I know you already said to my partner that you're fine without a lawyer and everything. But as you know, by law, I'm required to read some things to you, and I'm gonna read this to you. Then I am gonna preface with, maybe we talk a little bit right now, but we're gonna bring you back to Grand Rapids, and I'm gonna read to our post. We're gonna make sure you're warm, you're fed. It sounds like you've been out the whole time.
You can't count me, I run the biggest race coming out.
Yeah, and we're gonna bring you back that way. That being said, we know people at the jail. We know what we have the ability to make sure that you're taken care of. Okay.
Black games and Mexican games.
Yep, I got you. Okay, and those are definitely. I promise we'll make sure that those aren't going to be concerns that you have to think
I know
about.
it's not your responsibility
Yeah,
to take care of.
no, it is. It's we as law enforcement. It doesn't matter where you're at on the side of what we're looking into. We have a responsibility to make sure everybody's safe, and I'm not just saying that. So if that's a concern, we'll get over that, and we'll talk to people to make sure that you're in a place that you're safe.
They're picking up all the belongings, right, that I had.
Yep, we're
I
gonna.
left, I think the victim's fingerprints, but I left some gloves inside there what I had.
Inside
What I
where?
have in the annex center. They're on the table.
In the attic.
In the annex
Okay.
center.
Were you able to get inside it last night, or
They let me sleep here.
they did? Okay.
Yeah. I don't ever need all
Okay.
that, you know.
Do you prefer if I advise you of you speak full English?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you okay if I read you your Miranda rights from in English then? Okay. All right. So you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you before or during any questioning. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you during any. And then if you want a lawyer but can't afford one will be appointed to represent you at public expense. If you waive your right to remain silent and later wish to stop answering questions, the questions will stop. And if you waive your right to have a lawyer present and later change your mind, the questioning will stop until you've talked with a lawyer. Do you understand each of these rights that I've explained to you?
Yeah.
And are you willing to give up these rights and answer my questions at this time?
Yes.
Okay. So, I'll let you know a little bit of kind of what we got going on, and we'll have a conversation again. We'll talk a little bit right now, but we probably will talk again back at the Grand Rapids Post. Have you ever seen our post there? It's a nice building. It's not like we're taking you to some hole in the wall.
I think I've been there because I had deported.
Oh, okay. You ended up there? Okay. So I guess let's start with just stuff here, because I want to make sure that we don't leave anything that's yours here
And there's some mittens that are left in the bathroom inside.
in here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll kind of just go through a couple of those things to start. So there's mittens in the church bathroom.
And then in the hat and a scarf in that annex room.
Okay, scarf and gloves in annex. How did you run into them yesterday sometime and ask, or did they just see
No, I
you?
had them. I took them from the victim's prison.
Oh, okay. So for sleeping here though, you just talked to somebody at some point?
Well, yeah, because I stumbled up on it. Yeah. I was walking around after,
Yeah.
and then I came in here, the door was open, so I thought, anybody, it was open to the public.
Okay, for this building?
No, to the church.
Okay.
And then later in the evening, I asked, I had to make up a story, and I told them that I had no place to go.
Okay.
And the lady allowed me to sleep there.
Was there a lady in here?
Yeah, they probably talked to her, the pastor.
It's a female pastor?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I told her that I was recently fired from a job.
Okay. And she said you could come over here and stay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, anything else as far as items belonging to you, or obviously to Ruby in either of these buildings? Anything else that you've put in there? No? Okay. And over here, it's just your phone? Is that your only phone? Did you put it in airplane mode at some point?
No, why?
It just, I just wasn't sure, is it, or does it only have the ability to call 911?
Yeah, I don't think the ability is a call 911.
Okay, can you like text and stuff on it?
No.
Okay. So, when you were walking from where you left the victim's car up to here, was there anything that you discarded along the way?
No, I left the car right there in the middle
Yep,
post
yep.
office inside.
Yep, we see that sitting there. When you park the car, is that someplace that you're familiar with? Have you been there before?
It was just all out of instinct.
Okay, you just driving?
Yeah,
Have you ever been down to this area ever?
no.
You just were driving?
I seen the car had half a tank of gas,
Okay.
and I knew if I stayed in the main highways, you know, I
Yeah.
would got caught.
Okay, so you wanted to get off, and then, so when you found that little spot, you just happened to see it, and you backed in and parked it?
I was just driving anywhere, and then I seen it was at like at a construction site,
Yeah,
and I didn't notice, but it was a huge lake in the back,
yeah,
so it just seemed ideal.
okay,
I can show you where it's at.
we found it.
Oh yeah?
That'll work. And then you just been walking kind of for a while. Did anybody make contact with you? Did anybody check on you while you're walking at all? Anything like that?
Mhm.
Not really talk to anybody until you got up here?
Yeah, I was, you know, normal. I
Yeah.
wasn't, I was, you know, I looked normal.
Yeah, just walking, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, we'll talk about it more, but I mean, you know what? You did a lot of things. Obviously, there's things that are, you know, that we're going to talk about, but then also, you didn't make one of our officers get in a shooting with you. You didn't do anything like that. You seem like a decent
I had to
guy.
face the music. I
Yeah.
know what I did was a
Yeah.
horrible, horrible thing,
Yeah,
but I also fear for my life.
yeah,
And I know as soon as I got the word that there's a green light and they want to take matters into their own hands,
yeah.
I know they're the type to be involved in gangs, cartels.
Okay.
And when it comes to death, I don't, you know,
Yeah, you're not.
for what I did,
Yeah.
it's not going to be just a shot to the head. It's going to be torture. It's
Okay.
going to be, you know, at their,
Yeah.
at what they want.
Okay. Well, let's, I guess, give me, we'll talk more, because we're sitting here having a conversation, I will have a brief convo with you about it. Can you give me just a quick, I just have a couple of questions here. Let me talk to my partner to make sure, and then we'll go from there. So I have you just hold that for just a second.
Fast forward a little bit.
Here, man, so I know you can't see me all that well, but I'm behind you, all right?
So at 59:23, that's you getting in the backseat of the vehicle?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And so you continued on the interview after the section we just saw.
Yes.
So we don't have to watch the whole thing in terms of what, take a little more time. Could you tell the judge exactly when it came to what occurred the night before in terms of the homicide with Ms. Garcia? Could you tell the judge what he said about that?
Yes, we kind of jumped around and there's multiple iterations with clarifying questions, but in summary, he indicated he was in a dating relationship with Ms. Garcia. They had a bit of a falling out. He interpreted that she was breaking up with him. The day of the murder, he had gone to her residence at York Creek Apartments. He had met her outside the parking lot at her vehicle. She then came down from the apartment to meet him at the vehicle. They discussed the relationship in the car for quite some time. At some point, Ms. Garcia indicated that she was done with the conversation and that she intended to bring Mr. Ortiz home.
Okay, stop right there. When you say they're talking about the conversation in the vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
stationary at her apartment then?
Correct.
They were not driving at this point in time?
Not at that point.
Okay, what kind of vehicle does she have?
It's a red Mazda.
So at the point where she says, hey, I'm done, I'm going to take you home, is that when they begin driving?
Yes. He's not ready to finish the conversation. He believes that there's more to sort out. He wants to continue the relationship. He wants to sort out the problems. While they're driving, he yanks on the steering wheel multiple times in an attempt to convince her to pull over and to continue the conversation.
Did he tell you specifically where he was yanking, where that took place, where he's yanking on the steering wheel?
Multiple times in different locations. It's as they're driving. Without using exact road names, he was able to articulate leaving the York Creek Apartments, driving along 4 Mile to West River Drive to then southbound 131. He estimated it was multiple pulls on the steering wheel. He physically made the motions of grabbing the top part of the steering wheel and pulling it towards him, approximately a quarter turn of the wheel. When asked to clarify, he denied that pulled the car out of the travel lane, but was again just his attempt to convince her to pull the car over. He did that once on the freeway while they were southbound 131, at which time Ms. Garcia pulled the car over to the shoulder and stopped and parked it.
What did he say happened after? So she's parked on southbound 131, the shoulder. What did he say happened at that time?
According to the defendant, Ms. Garcia asked him to exit the vehicle. It was apparent to him that you're not supposed to walk on the freeway. He knows, it's common knowledge for him that there's law enforcement stationed on the freeway quite often. I believe he estimated there's never an officer more than a minute away from where you are. He commented on his own immigration status and was worried about having contact with law enforcement. So he pleaded with her to bring him anywhere, to drop him off at, say, a gas station, I believe he said. She refused and continued to tell him to get out of the car. He continued to refuse to get out of the car, at which time Ms. Garcia took out her cell phone. Mr. Ortiz interpreted that as she was going to then call law enforcement. I asked him to clarify if she explicitly said she was going to call the police, and he didn't recall that, but he interpreted that as she was going to call the police. He attempted to retrieve the phone from her to prevent that phone call. Then began a physical altercation. She hit him. He hit her back. He was unable to pull the phone from her. And during that altercation, he remembered that he had his handgun with him. I believe he said it was instinct that he then reached for the gun and then shot her multiple times from inside the vehicle.
Did he say where that gun was?
It was on his hip. Yep.
And he had carried that in the vehicle for this entire time, and he just realized kind of he remembered he had it?
Yes, it was with him the whole time.
Okay. So did he give you a description in terms of, he said he shot her 4 times, how that took place, what exactly?
Initially,
the vehicle?
Initially, he couldn't recall the first gunfire, if he was still inside the passenger seat or if he was just outside the passenger door. But he also recalled that there was a weapon malfunction that he had to clear. He remembered pulling the slide back of the handgun, and unprompted, he indicated that must have ejected a live bullet onto the ground. He indicated that if we looked, we would probably find a live bullet on the ground on the side of the freeway. He then traveled around the rear of the vehicle and then opened up the driver's door at that time.
Okay. What did he do after he opened up the driver's door?
He recalled signs of life. He indicated that her hands were moving. He indicated in similar terms that she was still fighting for her life. And that's when he decided to shoot her one more time. He believed it was in the head.
After he shot her in the head, what did he do?
He then described having to undo her seatbelt, and then he pulled her from the vehicle onto the ground on the side of the freeway.
What did he do then?
He then got into the vehicle. He recalled having, her feet were still partway on the bottom of the door jamb there. He recalled having to, from the driver's seat, move her feet all the way out of the car. He then closed the door and drove away.
Where did he go specifically? Did he tell you?
He was able to describe a route, continuing on southbound 131, and then the exit for westbound 196. He denied having a specific destination in mind, but expressed a fear of being near the city and just getting away from where this had taken place.
Did he obviously, you found in this area, in terms of you hear the description of you finding a car. How do you end up dumping the car, for lack of a better term? What led him to that area?
Again, once he was looking for a rural area, he did not have any prior knowledge of that area. The location that he saw seemed uninhabited. I believe it was a construction site. I did not personally observe where the vehicle was, but he believed it to be a safe place to exit the vehicle. He was knowledgeable at that time that he didn't have the key fob with him, so once turning down the car or parking it, that may be the last opportunity to then move the vehicle, but he then stayed there that night.
I'm nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sir?
Good morning.
When you got into the car, you sort of restarted the interview, didn't you? Did you say something like, let's go back to York Creek and start from there? Did you say that?
In similar terms, I may have said that.
Okay. And when Brandon was talking, he indicated to you that he did not intend to kill Ruby. Isn't that fair?
It was not his plan in traveling there that day, no.
So, and he indicated too, it wasn't a plot, that it just happened. Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
And when he went to see Ruby at York Creek, she unlocked the car for him. Is that what he told you?
Yes.
And that the two of them sat in the car for about an hour or so is what he told you?
Yes.
And that the conversation that took place with regards to that hour was of normal level, wasn't fighting. Is that how he told it to you?
An argument, but not yelling or anything.
Okay. And the yelling started after she started driving, is that what he said?
Correct.
He indicated to you that he was drinking and using cocaine that day?
Yes.
And he asked her to take him to a gas station and she said no, that's what he told you?
Yes.
He indicated to you that he couldn't remember if he was in or out of the car at the time of the shooting?
Of those initial shots, correct.
Did he indicate to you that it was just him and Ruby in the car?
Yes.
He indicates to you that he spent the night with the vehicle afterwards?
Yes.
Indicate to you that he was contemplating suicide at that time?
He did.
A lot of times during the interview with him, is it fair to say he was anxious or worried about retaliation against himself?
Yes.
By her family?
Yes.
In fact, and you reviewed the video, he was talking to Detective Sergeant Williams about making sure he had safety.
Yes.
Detective Williams made some promises that he would have safety. Are you aware of any steps that either yourself or Mr. Williams took to ensure his safety?
I don't recall post-interview if there were any special conversations with the jail. I did not contact the jail specifically.
He never told you anything anything that would lead you to conclude that his intent was to steal her car?
No.
At any time after you, because you sort of take over the interview, fair, when you get in the car?
Both of us are in there. I wouldn't say I took it over,
Oh, okay.
but contributed to it.
Okay. At any time after that, did you have another conversation with Brandon?
Yes. After being outside the church in the patrol car, we later brought him to the Grand Rapids Post.
And then an interview continued?
Yes.
And were you present for that interview?
Most of the follow-up questions I was present for or asked myself.
Okay. Did you have you personally have any other interviews with anybody like at the church or any churchgoers or anything like that?
I did not interview anyone at the church.
Okay. To your knowledge, was his Miranda rights ever reread on the second half of the interview?
I don't recall if they were.
Okay. I don't have anything further. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, I redirect.
No redirect, Your Honor.
Thank you.